Good morning, good morning. I hope everyone's having a great Thursday out there so far. It has been a choppy pre-market today. Look at that big SPY pullback, but then ultimate recovery that comes into play. Oh wow, especially here at open on this 1 minute candle. It's actually looking pretty good. Definitely better than I've seen in pre-market. Wow. SPY is starting to make a comeback. If you guys are wondering why SPY is down so much, TSM reported earnings and it has not went well for them. Not one bit. They're down 2.9%. Now they are starting to come back a little bit. See that green candle at open? Just like what I was saying with the SPY. If we actually look at Mag 7, look at how much Tesla just tanked off at open. Wow, it broke through $400 the other day and has just tanked today. That is a pretty nasty drop off from 393 all the way down to 388 at open. Down around 1.5%. And we're only 1 minute into the day. Wow, Microsoft, top right chart also looks pretty bloody. Apple, second from the left on the bottom. Also kind of going red a little bit. But SPY is still holding its ground here. Nvidia trying to hold up here at 210. Google's moving higher. Amazon up. Very mixed on the Mag 7 players here this morning. Looking at banks, those don't appear to be what's really pumping SPY by any means. We'll have to see if the SPY move can hold, because SPY is moving into some crazy resistance here. We go to a 15-minute chart, we can see that the SPY is rejected overhead at this resistance multiple times over the past. At this point, it's like a whole week. Over the past week, multiple rejections around 755 to 756. Keep your eyes on this as SPY pops up today. I think it's going to be tough for SPY to just rip through that, but I guess you never know what might happen with Iran or a big situation like that. But yeah, chip stocks still under some pressure this morning, especially whenever you go look at names like MU and others. $ MU really sold off in pre-market. Now, like I said, things are coming back a little bit, so they don't look as bad as they could. But MU sold off yet again. Not a good one to see. The daily chart looks brutal on some of these stocks right now. DRAM, same story. Down in pre-market, it's down almost 5% on the day, even with the comeback. Without the recovery today, it would have been down like 7%. Jason said, wow, UNH. I didn't even think about them. I forgot about UNH. Wow, 7.7%. Look at that daily chart recovery for UNH. Ended up breaking through the recent high around 430, 430. UNH has a long way to go back up, but they're already like over halfway. This is a pretty good move. The resistance that UNH ran into here around 450 was crazy. To just blast past it is not surprising, I guess, given earnings, but yeah, I guess it is surprising to me still. Just a big level. It was bound to happen eventually. Taiwan Semiconductor still holding up. Nvidia turned over a bit. Bounced off of 211 and is kind of going back to the downside pretty quickly. Ooh, and so did SPY. SPY followed along. No longer green. Oh, no. Or, oh yes, if you're a put player out there, which could be the case today. Don't be surprised if puts play out well. Why not, right? BE got hit again. So tired of these stocks that are hot one day and garbage the next. I do gotta say, BE hasn't really been hot for a little while, but my God. The daily chart looks brutal since the high around 350 to 351. It's just sold off and it had like 3 green days mixed in. The other one is very rough. Yesterday, it looks like it tried to recover a little bit end of the day, but looks more like just chopped back up. Kind of like what everything did yesterday, honestly. Even Nvidia did that. Weird price action lately, Jake. I would actually say that this has been a very hard to trade market the past, I would say 5 trading days or so. 4 trading days. Very hard to trade. Yesterday's recovery was nice and the sell-off was nice too. But I would think for the majority of people out there, it's a bit harder to trade all this back and forth rather than just like a clear downtrend. I would say like Monday's price action was probably the best of the entire week. Just, you know, the way it just sold off all day. Like, see, that would be nice if we could see that happen today. Anybody watching the MJ stocks, Tilray or anything? I know that they were trying to move a little bit recently, like ticker symbol MJ. No? Where's MSOS at? Huh. I noticed that they did have some green, like MSOS on Monday, but it really just faded off of that. Hasn't materialized into anything. Nothing really there today. All right, watch list time. Ticker symbol AG. First Majestic Silver down 3.6%. I noticed gold and silver were down a lot today. Or they just looked pretty brutal on their overall chart and their sell-off. Gold is still above the recent lower. GLD is around 360. This is a pretty brutal area here. Even gold is still above like $3,900 an ounce, which is technically the real floor or the larger support zone here. But this is a big zone, and I'm still watching for a potential bounce with gold here. Although I will say it's just so slow and choppy right now. It's one of those situations where, like, okay, the risk reward is awesome. You know, if we get a recovery with gold, the risk reward's great. Like, you could stop out right under that support zone and you could target even a safe target, like around 43.90 per ounce, would still yield a 2.74 risk reward ratio. And if you actually targeted like where I would think that gold would run to if it bounced, which would be somewhere like 47.50 or higher, then you're talking a risk reward well over 5. And if you go for the all-time or the recent high, it jumps up to like 10, which is really wild. So there's a really good risk reward ratio on gold right now if you're looking at the support, but keep in mind, like, support could always break, you know? It's probably better just to grab long-term or have like a long-term outlook there. Jake says, I have an MU CSP at 850 for 717. It's now at risk for assignment. It had to drop $150 to get to this point. Yeah, you're right. I mean, $150 though on a stock that has moved up by like I don't know, $1,000 this year isn't that much. But I feel what you're saying. Yeah, you're probably gonna end up getting a sign on that, Jake, but hopefully we get a bounce and, you know, hopefully you have a good long-term outlook there. That's an interesting position, though. Generally, whenever I do cash secure puts, I try to get more like around like a lower range, honestly. It's hard to put that into words, but I normally go for them whenever they're, you know, around like a big support range or something. Like, let's just say like we're looking at like Disney. You know, like let's say we're watching Disney drop, and like let's say Disney's starting to get close to like $80. As it gets to like 84, I'll probably start selling like the 80s or like the 79s or 78s or something. That's kind of like, you know, it's on like a big support range. Like, I'm not necessarily doing it like right here, you know, like on the chart. Although, you know, you still could. It just, I can sell later today if I can break even. It was at like 15 delta. Gotcha. Got it. Yeah, if you could sell today, break even. Might take some risk off the table. I would be careful. Only do that if you're okay owning MU at that price. And keep in mind, if MU pulls back to like 600, will you still be okay owning it at 850? That's the big question, because it could pull back that much. It's very easily. Very easily. IBM fell through support. You called it. Oh, man, I'm going to grab a drink of water. Hang on. Hell yeah, that sell-off with IBM was brutal, Jesse James. Whenever I heard what the company's CEO was saying, I was like, yep, it is not good for them. Even if they bounce back slightly, I think a couple weeks later they would have ended up doing the same move. So we'll see what they do as they approach $200 here. That'll probably be a pretty big level to test. They might try to hold that, or it might try to hold. Yeah, brutal. All right, SPY, let's see what we have. Ticker symbol SPY turned right back over. Is now pushing the low from pre-market. Actually, it technically broke the pre-market low and double bottom around 751.20 very easily. It broke it no problem, but it's just choppy as hell, as usual. But is actually pointing lower. And I lean more towards a downside move today, well above an upside move. Yep. Downside move is definitely in order, especially with that resistance holding up on the SPY. Do I think resistance can break eventually? Yes. Do I think it will come today with how things are going right now? Not at the moment. Not unless we get some Iran news where Trump says that him and the supreme leader of Iran hugged and kissed or something. I mean, that's going to have to be the only thing that I hear to convince me that something really happened. Just imagine if Trump takes back the $1 billion from IBM. Takes it back. That hasn't been a thought, has it? Man, I sure hope not. Boeing has been pretty rough lately. It's been turning over really hard and actually kind of looks like it's setting up for a bigger drop. Watch out here for Boeing, guys. This is a weird setup where it's kind of coiling, but I feel like a large move is set to come in soon with how long it's been coiling for. Micron, guys, dropping like a rock. Uh-oh. Not looking good. Rigetti was one of my plays down from yesterday, and it's down very well today under 1490. I like to see that. Tesla's down as well, moving lower. Getting some good downside price action with these stocks here. Tesla breaking that 390 zone was pretty big. Man, Tessie. Talk about a move. That's a bad drop off there. 1.85%. Not my favorite. Palantir, guys. 3.7%. Actively selling. Just about everything's moving lower right now. And guess what's moving higher? McDonald's. Oh my God. McDonald's. Rock and roll McDonald's. You guys know.
McDonald's is a place to rock. It is a restaurant where they buy food to eat. It is a good place to listen to the music. People flock here to get down to the rock music. Rock and roll McDonald's.
Oh my God. All right. I didn't realize it was that. Whoa. I figured I'd switch it up today because I'm excited for McDonald's moving up off support. Air Force One said Red Cat always be making money on the downside. Yep. RCAT. Pretty fun setup for RCAT to the downside. You know, it's been selling off like in an insane way. Not surprised to see that down again at all. McDonald's. I like to see it moving higher. How about Lowe's? Nice. How about Home Depot? How about Walmart? Wally World. Oh yeah, 115 coming up there too. Seeing pretty good movement all around. Domino's is up 4.5%. Is that PZZA? Oh, that's Papa John's. It's DPZ. 324. Yeah, Steve said Apple's not doing good. Yeah, I'm not surprised there. Actually, it's not. Yeah, or he said it's not doing bad, actually. Oh, wow. Yeah, now I'm very surprised, actually. It is holding up pretty well. Up 0.5% relative to most other stuff I've seen. It looks pretty good. Here's the Mag 7 from Open today. And almost everything has a bad move besides Apple. So that is a bit surprising. Wow. Where do you see SoFi? I have shares. My average price is 22. I'm thinking of selling if it goes above my buying price. SoFi. Your average price is 22. I'm thinking of selling if it goes above the buying. Maybe after Q2 reports, we may see a bump, but I don't expect major movement until after the rates fall. Let's go see the daily on SoFi. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's pretty brutal where it is now. It didn't even test the trend line yet, but it is holding a good base around $15. I mean, I'm pretty mixed on SoFi. I feel like that they have a pretty good shot to do well, but watch for the trend line to touch here. This is going to be interesting on this setup. If it starts to break out above like $20, I think that that could signify that it's moving up and out of this lower zone and it could go higher, but I don't know. I don't love the setup here, honestly. It's down. It's not like, you know, at like 2025 lows or anything like that, though. Seems pretty hard to trade where it is at the moment as well. Yeah, if you have a good like long-term outlook on it, I think that you're okay to keep holding with the shares at 22. It's just, you just have to have a good long-term outlook, and even averaging in might be a good thing to do. Like if it drops down to like $15 again, maybe you average in a little bit. Now don't go all in on it or anything. Only do it if you have room. But you're thinking of selling if it goes above the buying price? I mean, I would hopefully you sell it somewhere above the buying price, but if it starts to go above 22 at this point, you may as well just hold because it might make like a full-blown recovery up to 30 or 32 or 40. Don't hold it for like 8 months and then, don't hold it for like 8 months and then let it go like the second it gets back to your price. It's like a big time wasted. Houston said it was better at $7. I bet it felt better buying it at 7. Here's the NASDAQ on the daily chart, turning over pretty hard. Even though SPY's turning over today, it's like, it's still not even that low. Like, we're not even at the low of this week. Nice. Jake's been selling covered calls on SoFi. Awesome. Awesome. Great stuff. That'll be helpful. Wow, SMR is really getting crushed here. Down to $7.79 now today. Woo! It's a higher low. All right, Tesla, let's see what happens. Wow, got down to like 385. Nasty sell-off still ensuing here. How's Bitcoin today? Is it down as well? Only a little bit. It's not down a lot. Not very bad at all at the moment. Oh, SPY has a higher low. I got you. That might make sense now. Oh, yeah, you're looking off of the past few days. Yeah, it has been actually doing that, hasn't it? A little higher low action, yeah. And it's bouncing right back up, of course, right around that low. Big support there in play. Is UNH still moving up from their earnings? They were having a nice earnings pop. They're just holding. They're not really actively running. TSM's trying to make a comeback here. It's holding that $400 support. That's a big level for TSM. Reading some news right now. Not seeing anything too crazy. Sorry guys, I'm just testing something really quickly here. Oh, wow. Going back to the SPY. We're starting to really recover, guys. That higher low trend is actually coming into play. Who said that earlier? OJ, you got it. They said Apple. Wow, I missed it. I know Apple's been the hot stock of the day. We've been looking at the Mag 7 this morning, and Apple's been like the one good player out of the Mag 7. It's been pretty good. Damn, what a wild turn of events here. Brain, how we doing today? How can a stock go from 200 to 40 within the space of less than a year? I know it's possible. I'm just really dumbfounded by it. Which stock are you talking about, by the way, Brain? Check out MPC, Marathon Petroleum Corp up again. Beautiful. Man, MPC. I'm glad that you said to check this one out. It is on fire. I love this move going on. Ticker symbol SPY bouncing right back. Look at the MAG 7 setup. SPY's about to be break even on the trading day. It's a pretty wild one out there. I do like that 253 support on Amazon as well. If that starts to give out, it could get brutal. Google is starting to sell down a bit more here as SPY moves up as well. It's just such a strange trading day, how these stocks are moving back and forth. Apple's dropping hard now, Jake said. AAPL down to 328. I noticed that earlier too. Microsoft is one that looks pretty brutal. It's nice to see the SPY moving up, but Microsoft, of course, is software, and it has been pretty bad recently, and it's been so bad that it now has a moderate minus 0.57 correlation to the SPY. Pretty bad. First half hour of the day has been super choppy, Jake said. Yeah, SPY's been up and down, up and down. SPY's actually testing its peak that it touched from open here, and now there's a couple red candles coming in off of that peak. That's crazy. Good morning, Tom. Is there a website that shows the top moving stocks besides CNBC? Yeah, I mean, there definitely is. If I were you, I would just create your own watch list. You know, I don't know if you have a brokerage that, you know, you prefer using for your watch list or anything, but I would create your own watch list, and then you can start to see, like, which ones are at the top, which ones are at the bottom. You can also do like custom scanners. Like on Thinkorswim, you can actually do what I'm doing here. Like see, I have like a 100 SMA scan, or like a breakout scan, or like just a whole bunch of different watch lists. Or you can go like right here, see like pre-market movers, post-market movers, the top 10% gainers today, top active. Like here, I'll do top 10 sizzling stocks. See, look, it just threw out some stocks that are up like 25% today, like ATAI. God, it's all from after hours yesterday, but it is up, to be fair. DSGR had like a big gap up. Something's going on there. CDNA. Okay, 24%. Interesting. What in the hell kind of stock is this one? CDNA. I haven't heard of this one in a long time. Looks like it really popped off with COVID, died, and is really making a good recovery bounce back. Interesting. Or, you know, we could just go to, right here, percent change gainers. This is usually what people like to do. See which ones just have the best moves going on. It's not going to catch like every single stock. It depends how you set up the scanner, but I'm just using the pre-made ones for now. Percent change losers. But you can make a free scanner if you want. You can make a free scanner on FinViz. FinViz does a really good job of this. But yeah, that's what I would do, Outlaw. Let me go show you FinViz really quick, and I'll send you a link in the chat, too. All right, I'm going to send a link in the chat for you, Outlaw. Just sent it. And I'm going to go to it on the screen just so I can show you guys. Oh man, the ads on the website are like killing my Google Chrome, as you guys can probably see. There it is. All right. So right here, you can see the free screener, and you can set it up for all types of stuff that you want to see. You can even go as far as getting technicals for it. You could say, you know, is this hitting the 200-day moving average? Is it hitting the 20-day, the 50-day? You can customize these as well. You can do fundamental screeners if it would work. You can see, like, you know, PE, price to cash, current ratio, operating margins, sales growth, price to sales. You know, you could set up all types of stuff here. Oh my God, Finviz. Maybe I'm not going to recommend it because it's so laggy. It's because they're loading in these ads. Anytime that there's like a website for me that has like ads nowadays, it kills my computer. I don't know what it is. Literally only Google Chrome. That's it. That's the only thing I have problems with. I swear, I need to just switch, I need to switch browsers. All right, let's go back to technicals. I'm going to do stocks that are 10% above the 200-day moving average. AAL. Quite a few on the list, really. But yeah, you get the point. It's a pretty neat one. I got to get off this website, though. It's going to kill me. Brave browser does. Delete cache. Man, maybe that is what I need to do, Brain. I'm going to set that up to do that here soon, actually. Because it's been a hell of a lot longer than a couple months since I've done that, Brain. Definitely has been. Yeah, I'm going to go do that. And I do have like ad blocker and stuff, but a lot of websites force you to turn it off, of course, now. But yeah, there's got to be a better way. Man, Tesla bouncing on the 15-minute up to 394. Wow. Tesla, guys, recovered up so much. Some of these stocks on their recoveries are pretty wild. Yeah, everyone always says to do that if there's a problem, I guess, but I guess I didn't think about it pertaining to my issues. Palantir, 131.75. Little intraday resistance here. Let's go back to MPC, which is still actually looking pretty good. 2.85%. It's done nothing but move up since open today. The daily looks very strong. VLO, another nice one. Mike was talking about these yesterday. Nice rip by VLO again, up to 303. Iran instructed Yemen's Houthis to prepare to shut the Bab al-Mandeb Strait if the U.S. targets Iranian power infrastructure, per Reuters. Sounds like a pretty negative piece of news to come through. Definitely sounds more negative than positive. Whoa, my fault, guys. Do you think it's going to keep recovering more? Frosted Over said. If we're thinking about the SPY recovering up more, I think it's definitely possible today. It's not too far off of the recent high, and I definitely leaned lower into the open today. But with the sheer amount that it's recovered back up, I mean, it might be time to adapt. The problem is right now is that the market's just so choppy. Like, we'll probably end up having some type of pullback similar to this at some point today. The question is, will it happen now? Will it happen whenever SPY gets like to 755, 756? It's so choppy. I feel like the overall market in SPY has been very hard to trade. Now, if you can catch some of these good intraday runs, in that case, I think it's an okay thing to try and do. But the problem is that, you know, traders are probably, instead of catching these moves right here, traders are probably catching, you know, trying to, like, let's say short it when it gets here and then it bounces, or buy it here and then it bounces back down. You know, it's a tough setup, but I lean to the upside with the way that it's looking right here. This actually doesn't look too bad as far as the technical setup goes with these candles. It's actually a pretty bullish sign to see it holding this ground so well rather than like chopping underneath it. Mason said, I think 754 is hard for SPY to break. Yeah, that does seem to be a level that lines up pretty well over the past few trading days. Honestly, it's the SPY has been so choppy that, you know, we've seen rejections at 754. We've seen rejections at 755. And then we've also seen him at 755.50 to 756. That's how choppy it is. But I would say larger resistance, probably like 755 to 755.50. The big thing is, like, if we zoom out on the SPY right now, you can see how this overhead zone is tested so many times here. At some point, this overhead zone is going to break. I didn't think it was going to come today early on, like whenever the market first opened, but I don't know. With the way it's recovering back up now, I'm not, it's not off of my radar anymore. Wow, SPY. Yeah, it really is climbing fast. Seeing tech players start to bounce back here. Tesla is coming all the way back. It was pretty negative this morning. Now it's all the way back to break even. Same thing with the SPY. It's also now back to break even. Now Nvidia didn't necessarily get that good of a bid back up like some others did here. But wow, talk about some positivity. I'm not necessarily seeing any news that helps support this either at the moment. This could actually get pretty wild if the SPY goes for a breakout today or tomorrow. That would be a wild end to the week. Visa introduces a platform for stablecoin minting, movement, and management. Oh, wow, guys. Keep your eyes on Visa. That's pretty good news by Visa, actually. Hopefully that really gets the stock moving. This is a good chart on Visa on the daily. It's been looking really strong. It would be nice to get up and test 365, if not even go for that breakout. But it is trying to break like above the high from the past few trading days and really solidify a move above it. But they're getting into the stablecoin game. That sounds interesting. Good to get a little bit of news on something. PayPal's moving. Ramirez says, yeah, it is 2.5%. Ripping today. It did very well gapping up yesterday. Pluto said targets for Nvidia, please. Nvidia is very choppy right now. Tough to trade it. I don't really have a good target, honestly, at the moment. It's stuck between the chop zone. I guess with SPY moving higher, my target would be like 211, the high from this morning, like right here. Pretty big resistance from the past few days, too. Pretty huge. Pluto said, and the low, I'm trying to find a decent entry. If you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe. To the downside, 207 and then 206. But the low from today, 207, has to be what I go with. I've had these marked up for a little while, too. Going all the way back to June 10th and June 12th. Man, PayPal just broke out again. It's still going. Extremely strong. Hey, Tom, hope you're doing well. I'm interested in getting into SpaceX, but don't want to be the first bull to a bear party. What number are you looking at for SpaceX for more buying? You know, Johnny, it's nearly impossible to do that. To like pick a good number to the downside and just get it perfectly. I always tell people this, and sometimes people don't like hearing the answer, but they need to do this probably. And that's going to be dollar cost averaging in. What I'm saying is, like, if we have $10,000 and you're looking to invest $10,000 into SpaceX, maybe you start out with $2,000 today at 135. And then maybe you do like another 2,000 at like 120. And then another 2,000 at like 100. And then another 2,000 at like 80. And then another 2,000 at like 60. You know what I mean? Just leave yourself that room so that you can incrementally be buying in for the longer run. That's what I would say. Just be prepared for that. Because it's very hard to say how much this one's going to drop. I wish that I had a good target for you, but I don't. And I don't think that anybody that tried to come up with one, they can try to say anything that they want, but it's very hard to get the low on something like that. I'm with Kidding Man as well. It needs time. Yeah, he said SpaceX still has loads and loads of shares to add into the market through December. Personally, I'm waiting till after January to look at SpaceX. Yeah, you can always wait as well. I would definitely be on the fence of either waiting or just dollar cost averaging. We never know. Who knows? You know, SpaceX could always just make some massive bounce from right here and run up to new highs. It's very hard to say. You know, that's why we never quite know exactly like what the company is going to be releasing or what they're going to be doing. There probably will be some shock news hit at some point with something that could get things exciting. Walmart. Yeah, Walmart is an interesting setup here. Let me get these drawings off here. Yeah, it's a pretty big support range on Walmart there, right around like 104 to 106. Definitely a big level. It's trying to bounce off that recently. It didn't quite get that low, but I'm definitely eyeing it up on the dip for more of a long-term opportunity. Again, dollar cost averaging is king here, but I am eyeing it up for a possible buy the dip or long-term average in setup. Back to McDonald's, cooling off a little bit. This is such a big trend in play. Watch McDonald's break through the trend. That would be pretty brutal. If it does, I'll be getting a lot of shares. As time goes by, ASTS has fallen a good amount today so far, Ramirez says. AST Space Mobile, I'm not surprised to hear that. Holy shit. Yeah, they really did. No kidding. Wow. Yeah, just keep in mind, I do mean more of like a long-term outlook on Walmart, but even in the short term for like a little swing the next few days, maybe in even the next couple of weeks could be pretty awesome. Wow, that is nasty with ASTS, seriously. Yeah, that's a terrible move for ASTS, seriously. Tesla, 395, still stuck. Are you kidding me? Yeah, Costco is in the same position as Walmart too. Yeah, yep, another one that pulled back here. You know, one that's done pretty well is Target. Target's been uptrending and continuing to do well. Even today, Target is pretty enticing. But I will say, you know, Target's had a lot worse run the past few years. A lot worse. BBAI just hit a 52-week low around 3. Wow, big bear. Yeah, it did. As growth continues to turn over, there we go. Man, I still can't believe the SPY bounced back as good as it did today. This was some wild price action out of some of these stocks back up. Especially like the past 30 minutes, the past hour. SPY just made a new high of the day a few minutes ago. We'll see if it can get back. Lucid's on fire after false bankruptcy news. Really? False bankruptcy news? Wow. It came out as being false? Yeah, they're funded well in the next year. They issued a statement regarding... Yeah, they pushed back against a report claiming it was considering going private or filing for Chapter 11. Damn, that really got the stock to bounce back. 12% today. That's pretty damn good. LCDL got delisted? Damn. Yeah, Mason just posted up the link to bar chart. Yeah, they slammed it completely false. Wow. Yeah, they said it was completely false. Interesting. Lucid's a tough one. Lucid is a tough stock. Mason said it shot up like 100% the day they said bankruptcy, then reported it was false. Bot had calls on them yesterday that did pretty well into today. Man, that was a big jump into today. No kidding. You saw him removing a sign in Roseville? Wow. Maybe they're just trying to pump the stock or something. Seems like a weird situation. How are some of the chip stocks doing? Wow, MU turning back down, guys. Micron's approaching the recent low. Uh-oh. Watch out for these chip stocks. They might be turning back over and continuing this move to the downside. DRAM down. SNDK down. SNDK is now down 8% on the day, getting closer and closer to its low of the trading day. Lucid has been questionable since inception. Though I did get kind of excited about seeing the plant in Arizona. It really has been pretty rough. Hey, Dylan. I think that's how I say your name, or Toaster. I use TradingView. TradingView is what I use for the charts. It's pretty awesome. Hey, NVIDIA 206. Wow, NVIDIA. I didn't even see this. I was distracted by the other chip stocks here. But NVIDIA almost got hit harder than anything else in the short term. Down 3.03%, moving down to around the recent low. Really testing 206. This is getting brutal, guys. Let's see what the poll looks like today. 50 total votes. I appreciate everyone who voted today. This was actually one of the closer polls that we ever have had. Will SPY fall below pre-market highs or rip back up? Oh, I meant to say fall below pre-market lows, damn it. Yeah, it looks like trade between 751 and 756 is still what's going on at the moment. It hasn't really fallen under the pre-market low. Even though it technically did for like 10 seconds or 30 seconds, I'm not counting that. IWW or IWM and RSP are up today. And regional banks, thanks WS. Thanks Wall Street, that is not sexy at all. How's the new kiddo and the peas doing at home? Hey, how we doing, Brian? Thanks for joining up today. IWM is up? Really? Oh yeah, it is. Wow. 0.4%. Still holding up pretty well. We're doing good, though. Doing good. Still waking up a lot at nighttime, so still trying to get past that stage, but pretty solid. SPY's turning over a bit, Madara said. Oh, it definitely was. Now it's right back up. The chop of the day is coming in, making it harder. Nvidia at 206. That's pretty insane just to say how much Nvidia turned over there. Nvidia is getting pretty low again, guys. I know a lot of traders were getting worried as Nvidia had recently pulled back. It pulled back like 20% almost. Right now, from the high, it's down around 12%, providing some decent buy the dip opportunities if you're still bullish on chip stocks here. Of course, being bullish on chip stocks at this point could be questionable, but I wouldn't be surprised if people still went in on the uptrend, and if the uptrend ended up ultimately continuing. You know, it's very hard to, just like we say, it's hard to call the bottom, it's also hard to call the top. But I am a bit worried about some of these other memory chip players. Somebody like Nvidia, I think, is something that can hold up better. Whereas, like, I look at something like MU or like SanDisk or Western Digital, stuff like this is what I think is starting to show more of a technical breakdown. Whereas Nvidia isn't quite showing the technical breakdown yet. It's just kind of chopping and pulling back just like it has the whole way up. The others, though, are where things get scary. Gru just put in the discussion channel a funny picture of Trump popping up onto the screen here. I can't tell if this is supposed to look like something from like Call of Duty Black Ops or if it's something from like The Wizard of Oz. It's like one or the other. Probably COD or something, though. It's pretty funny. IOVA, please look at this one. It's moving since the last couple days. Fallout, that's what I was thinking, kidding. It kind of did give me Fallout vibes, too. Or like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic or something. It definitely has that graphical, the graphics from that period. Did IOVA get FDA approval? I'm not sure. I have not looked into it totally with IOVA. They're definitely moving well the past couple days. I'll get you a confirmation here in a second. I'm not even seeing any news from recent. If they did get approval, I would think that it would be on here. I could be missing it, though, and obviously they ripped a lot yesterday. So it could have happened. I'm surprised it's not on Thinkorswim News, but Thinkorswim News might not catch every little piece of info. Sorry, Mano, that's just a, it's kind of a different stock, and it was kind of a random biotherapeutic stock thrown out there. I'm actually zooming in on it a little bit. See if I can find some more info. Yeah, I don't see anything with an FDA approval. It looks like they reiterated forward guidance yesterday, though. Let me see something. Maybe I am seeing something. Let's see. Okay, it was back in June, but they did get FDA clearance for an investigational new drug back in June. Seems that South Korea Kospi said that they're not allowing leverage ETFs anymore. Folks were imploding their accounts this week. South Korea said, hold off for now. SEC's got to do something too, IMO. Well, you know, Brian, I kind of hope the SEC doesn't do anything, if I'm going to be honest. People need to learn, man. I mean, you can't be holding these leveraged ETFs and being stupid. You know, I mean, if you're going all into your account into like stupid leveraged ETFs, I mean, I hate to say it, but you kind of had it coming. You know, like, that's just how the cookie crumbles. It doesn't really matter what it is. If you implode an account on one specific thing, that's your fault. You know, that's not the SEC's fault. That's not the regulator's fault. I feel bad because, trust me, I see it happen. I literally deal with it. That's like my job. So it's kind of funny, but I feel bad, but it's one of those things that, hey, what happens if Tesla stock out of nowhere tanks 50%? I mean, people are going to get imploded from that one too. Yeah, they were all going on tilt. Yep. Gamble big, lose big. Yep. Yeah, not for beginners. I feel bad for him, though, for sure. He says that ETH, ETHA, ETF looks like it wants to finally break out on the daily, pinching into a hard wedge. Let's see. ETHA. Oh, yeah, it's kind of following the Bitcoin setup. Yeah. The problem is that, Brian, traders, a lot of times when traders are new, they really don't understand things. Like, whenever I was brand new, you know, I was trading, like, leverage gold ETFs and stuff. Like, it's like, okay, at the time, I really didn't understand. I just knew if gold went up, those go up. You know, that's simply, if gold goes down, you know, the inverse one goes up. Like, really, that's really all I knew. I didn't know, like, the ins and outs of them, and I've gotten burned personally on leveraged ETFs because I didn't research. I didn't do my homework. My biggest loss ever is actually exactly because of this, Brian. Exactly what we're talking about. Funny enough, it's not exactly a leveraged ETF, but my biggest loss ever came on VXX. I have a story. I'll give us all a story. Back during Trump's very first term, like 2016, we saw VXX go kind of nuts. The volatility index like ripped. 2018, it did it again. I can't remember exactly which one it was, the 2018 period or the 2016 period. I think 2018. But VXX ripped as Trump was going through like a trade war with China. And essentially what I got turned on to at the time was shorting VXX. Because look, if you zoom out, VXX goes down and then reverse splits and then goes down and reverse splits and goes down. And you can make a killing if you short it. And what I did, which was dumb at the time, I decided to short VXX as it ripped up a little bit. And at the time it ripped up, and I can't remember exactly what it was. It might have been like 30 or 50% or something like that, right? What I did is I essentially shorted it like right here. And then as it went up, you know, I kept like averaging in and averaging in. And then keep in mind that this is just a daily chart of VXX. It's not showing like pre-market or after hours. I believe during one of these periods, VXX had a crazy after hours move, and I can't remember exactly when, like what day it was or anything, but I ended up getting margin called and my account got wiped. And you know, whose fault was it? It's my fault. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought that you could short VXX no problem. If I would have held, I would have won, but I couldn't hold. My account ran out of money. But yeah, I ended up losing like, I don't know, 20 to 25 to 30,000 on that trade, maybe. It was a bad one. It was my worst one. And Mike, even at the time, this was like whenever I had first met Mike, and Mike was a lot smarter than I was at the time. I was a lot newer than Mike was, and whenever it happened, Mike was like, "Man, I can't believe you're not like quitting." And I was like, "Well, yeah." I was like, "I understand that it was, dumb and it was my fault." But he was like, "Man, most people would have quit." And I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right. But I wouldn't be where I am today if I would have quit." But that is a good point. It just goes to show that they can be very, very risky if you don't know what you're doing and you're playing things like UVXY, VXX, things that decay or things that have leverage to them. It definitely is a tough thing to do. He said you can't have a comeback story if you quit. Exactly. And if you quit after your first major defeat, you don't learn anything. Yeah, you really don't. You really don't. And I've lost on futures at the beginning, and I've had some good wins on futures as well, but the VXX one was definitely the larger, more memorable one for sure. Yeah, we should put that on a poster. We need to put that on a poster. No comeback story if you quit. Black Air Force says, I've lost the most on futures. Yeah, futures can be very easy to lose on if you don't know what you're doing either. I'm not surprised to hear that. But hey, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. Oh, Brian said they think it's easier than holding the shares themselves. Yeah. Well, they're gonna learn today, I guess. It's been such an easy market for them since April of 2025. It's done nothing but go up. If it went down, it was like literally just a few days of downtrend. That's pretty insane to say. That's like 2 whole entire years of just nothing but going up. So I think it was one of those situations where they were just kind of stuck. I'm actually sure that the same thing's happening to a lot of people in the US with like leveraged Micron and leveraged SanDisk or Western Digital or any of these. I bet it happens a lot here too. Maybe just not to the extent though, but good conversation actually, Brian. Good stuff. Bringing that up. SPY pulling back hard, 753. I used my 401k and blew my account as of now. Just got a few undisciplined plays and good holds of $200. I'm using my money to try and get back. Crazy. I'm in. I hate to hear that. Make sure to always have a good long-term base. You want to have a good long-term base set up and then trade with the extras. Banks, how are they doing today? Kind of volatile. Bank of America dropped, then popped. JP Morgan dropped as well. Starting to come back slightly. But alrighty, guys, we're going to go ahead and call the stream there today. Appreciate everybody for joining up, all the good conversations we've had. I know that SPY's price action has been back and forth the past couple days. Just be mindful. Of the chop. Every time it seems like SPY's going to finally go for a breakout, it pulls back and vice versa. I guess I still lean slightly up more than down here, but if we see the low of the trading day breakdown, that's where things will get fun to the downside. Let's go. Let's have a good plan into the end of the week tomorrow. Make sure to check out tonight's video as well. Gonna cover all the big topics and run down from today. Pretty interesting. But let's get it. Have a great rest of the day. Even the lurkers out there who don't always type in the chat, thanks for joining up. Let's crush it to end the week. See you guys later. See ya.